Hi everyone, welcome to a brand spanking new series of Let's Talk Ship. And in this series of Let's Talk Ship, we're going to be talking lots of ship about P&O's Azura. Ta-da! Because we have just got off a 40-night Canary Islands cruise, which was amazing. In today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we will be discussing our itinerary and what we got up to. There's going to be 5 episodes in this little series. The next episode, we'll be discussing the ship, Azura herself, what we thought of the ship, what we liked, disliked, our initial impressions kind of thing, and our accommodation, our cabin. We'll be talking about that. Followed by the food and the dining options on board. Ooh, food, glorious food. And then we're going to go into the bars and the entertainment. And then finally, we're going to talk about the fitness, the well-being, the open deck areas, the pools, that kind of thing. And we're going to give you some of our final thoughts.
So really comprehensive.
That's how it's gonna roll. So yes, there's going to be 5 episodes, people. 5. So yeah, before we get into this video, I suppose we're going to ask you to kindly consider subscribing to our channel, because that way you're not going to miss out on all this content that's coming up.
If you hit the little bell icon as well, it'll notify you.
Yes, and if you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up as well. But yeah, we need to get into it, don't we? Because yeah. We've got a lot to get on with, so
let's get into it.
Let's go. We were booked on Sun Princess, the brand spanking new, all singing, all dancing Princess Cruises new ship. And just 48 hours before our cruise was going to depart, or we were going to go on our holiday, I should say, it got cancelled. Literally got cancelled. We woke up to a cancellation email and I'd already packed. So at that point I thought, no, this ain't happening. I'm not unpacking that case. I'm going. So in a mad dash, managed to secure ourselves another cruise on the lovely Azura around the Canary Islands, which we'd never done before. Azura we have sailed on before, but the Canaries we've never been to before. So we were all happy with that. We decided that we were going to go for it. So we paid £977 per person for a 14-night cruise around the Canary Islands, including our flight, which was for an obstructed ocean view cabin, which we had absolutely no choice, no say in the matter, nothing. It was take it or leave it. That was the last room. We had to go for it. So we bit the bullet and we had this obstructed ocean view, which actually turned out all right. In the end, we were quite happy with what we got and for the price as well. I mean, I don't think it was a bad price, do you?
No, I thought it was a good price, really.
There were some downsides to booking as late or as close to the cruise as we did. Things such as we couldn't pick our flight seats next to each other. We didn't even know what luggage allowance we had until literally the day before, I think it was.
But the morning we were leaving.
The morning we were leaving. So it was all a bit crazy. We couldn't work out if we had, what was it, 19 kilograms or 23 kilograms, because it's very conflicting online. As it transpired, we had 23 kilograms. We were happy with that because we'd overpacked as usual. Yeah, as I said, we couldn't pick our seats next to each other, so we had to basically wing it. Which we managed to do. We rocked up at the airport as early as possible, and because we checked in so early, our seats were allocated next to each other, so we were happy. We were happy.
Unfortunately, another thing we couldn't do was pre-purchase things online. So things like this drinks package, if you buy it online, you get a discount.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that. We had to wait until we were on board, so it was about 10% more on board, which is I think $54.95. There were a few other things we couldn't do. I think there was some dining we couldn't pre-book either. But again, we were within 48 hours, so...
And we were just grateful to be on holiday because to be told your cruise is cancelled is just bonkers and is so close to actually to have packed my case. I'd even done all the ironing, I never had my clothes. So it was, no, I'm going. At that point, we were going. So we went.
It was a crazy day.
We had loads and loads of fun. We had a brilliant cruise. Anyway, we're going to talk about that now. So, without any further ado, let's discuss our itinerary. Ta-da!
So we're going to start by talking about our itinerary and what we got up to. And we're going to start off with our embarkation day. So on embarkation day, we flew from Gatwick Airport. Another one we couldn't choose, could we?
Couldn't choose our airport as
well.
No.
So we arrived in Gatwick. We went to the P&O queue because it was a chartered flight with TUI. Once there, they assigned us our seats. We went through security, normal kind of thing. The bags had gone. Once we got to the other side, we did have to collect our luggage from the carousel, which we thought was a bit strange, but...
We haven't had to do that in the past. Normally, next time we've seen them from dropping them off at the airport is outside our room.
Yes.
So it's a bit strange to have to collect them.
But all we had to do was collect them. Yeah. Once collected, we wheeled them out to the bus. There was P&O staff pointing in the right direction, so you knew where to go. And once we handed the luggage over to the bus driver, we didn't see them again until they arrived at our cabin.
The room.
So the journey from Tenerife Airport to the ship, I think it took about 45 minutes altogether.
Yeah.
Once we got to the ship, it was then your regular check-in that you get. So through a little security gate where they scanned your hand luggage. Then you went to the P&O check-in desks. Really quick, really, wasn't it? We were straight through.
It didn't take long at all. It was very, very efficient, really.
So we had our boarding passes printed, showed them onto the ship, and it was your normal thing then, same as if you board in Southampton. You go to your muster station, get your boarding
thing.
Yeah, get your boarding pass scanned, and then you head to your room where you can then have a look around.
Where your card awaits you in your little pigeonhole outside your door, and that is how you get in. However, there was a smidge of a hiccup.
Yes.
We got to our room and there was no card outside our door. So we did have to go to reception and get that printed out. Whether it got lost, whether it was due to us arriving so soon to the cruise, we don't know. But it got sorted pretty easily.
It was no problem, was it? Reception was great. There was no queues or anything like that, so it was pretty straightforward. And as we were now on the ship, we started looking around and enjoying ourselves. But we were now going to be in Tenerife overnight, so for 2 full days. Yeah. So the first night in Tenerife, we ate at the buffet, and then it was carnival. So we headed out into Tenerife town to enjoy a little bit of carnival.
Again, unplanned, because we had no idea we were going on this cruise. So we were very lucky. We just went into one of the most craziest parties we've ever seen in our lives. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The costumes were amazing. It was just... It's a carnival like I've never actually seen before. It's nothing like we get here at home. So it was brilliant.
It was lovely. And the staff said we had to go and see it. They just basically said, don't stay on the ship tonight. You've got to go off and see carnival. So we did. It was brilliant. The second day then in Tenerife, we stayed on the ship.
Just got settled in.
Settled in.
Got into a little routine and this and that.
Yeah. That evening, we dined at the main dining room, and this time it was the Peninsula restaurant.
Yeah. The following day was a day spent at sea, as Azura made her way from Tenerife up to our first port of call, which was then Madeira.
Yes.
So we just basically relaxed on the ship. We took advantage of the free sauna and the free steam room. We just sat in the hot tub, which we loved, by the Oasis pool. We absolutely loved all of that. And being a sea day, it was a black tie night. So we put on our tuxedos.
The first one.
The first one, first of 4 on this cruise. So we wore our tuxedos, and that evening we decided to dine at the main dining room, which was lovely. And then we just done the usual sort of thing, like parties and night away.
Yeah. And then next day we rocked up in Madeira. So because we hadn't had time to plan anything, we were just, the first week we were just kind of going to take it easy and just wing it.
Yeah.
So in Madeira we got off, and it's probably around lunchtime we got on the hop on hop off bus.
We do love a hop on hop off bus though, don't we? So it was our default excursion, I think.
And it was about an hour and a half, 2 hour trip, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Took you around Madeira, and it took this amazing viewpoint as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then up there we had, I think we had some custard.
We saw little lizards and all around. It was a very, very amazing viewpoint.
Yeah, had some Madeira wine, didn't we?
Yeah, there's a little cafe right at the top of the viewpoint, and it was very reasonably priced. The drinks were, and like I said, the pasta and astas, the little custard tarts, they were lovely. Yeah. It was good.
And then we headed back to the ship on the hop on hop off bus, got on board, and I think we were here until about 9:30 that night.
It was quite late, yeah.
So we decided to have a meal in the beach house.
Yes. And then we were to spend another day at sea as we headed then from Madeira to our next port of call, which was going to be La Palma. So on this sea day, we pretty much did the same sort of thing as the last. We relaxed, we chilled out, woke up late, had a lie-in, because that's what sea days are great for, is a lie-in. We had lunch at the main dining room, which is something we don't get to do very often. That was at the Peninsula restaurant, I think it was. And then we just relaxed. And that night again was another black tie night. So the tuxedos came back out. So this is black tie night number 2. And that evening we decided to dine at the Meridian restaurant, which is the main dining room, because we thought, it's black tie night, we'll go there.
Next day then, we rocked up in La Palma. We didn't have any plans really. We just got off and explored on foot.
Yeah.
We came across a little museum, didn't we? It
looked like a little pirate ship. And I got to say, La Palma was just absolutely, I'd say out of all the ports we went to, it was really, really pretty. Yeah. Really pretty place.
We also found a castle, went to look.
A very small little castle. I don't know how we stumbled upon it. We were just walking down the road and I just was like, let's go down there. There was this little thing, and you didn't have to pay to go into it. You just walked in. It was just more like a tiny little fort, basically. But that was all right.
It was a beautiful day. So we just walked around the town, basically. And then we stumbled across a little cafe.
Yeah.
Might have had some beers.
Well, the sun was shining. It was just lovely. And then we sat there drinking. We decided to have a platter of like meats and cheeses.
Beers, meats,
well, you know,
cheeses.
We were on holiday. So we enjoyed that.
Yes.
And then it was, sorry, it was back onto the ship. And that evening...
Well, we headed to the buffet.
We had buffet. We were going informal, which people are going to be, wow, they're eating at the buffet. But, you know, we were on the ship for 14 nights. We figured we'd take things easy. If you fancy a bit more of a relaxed, maybe a quick dash, grab something to eat and go, it worked out for us. Yeah. So that was that one. And then after that, we then headed to our next port, which was Forteventura. Forteventura. Well, what can I say about Forteventura? So we took a local bus. I'm going to say it was a bit of a kerfuffle because we were stuck in this horrendously long queue, waited and waited and waited, just about to get on the bus, and then some guy decides to tell us that we jumped the queue and we had to move to the back. As it happens though, there was a local who was about 2 or 3 people behind us who actually stuck out for us and said they've been in the queue for ages, they have not jumped in. So we were lucky we got on the bus. Yes, otherwise that would have been a complete farce and it could have ruined the day. We would have probably not got on the bus at that point because we'd have been angry. Anyway, we went on this bus to Coralejo.
Yeah, we'll say that for now.
We're going to say it like that for now. Very beautiful, very beachy, really nice, pretty place. Yeah. We just bumbled along. We just walked through.
Lovely seafront with bars and restaurants.
And we took a look at that. But we'd also been told, we'd had asked for some recommendations on our Facebook group. Ding, ding. So if you're not in a Facebook group, join. Asked for some recommendations and somebody suggested a beach to me, so I decided to go there because it was a nudist beach and I thought, well, I'm on holiday, let's go nude. So I did go nude and I did find it quite liberating. It was very nice to swim in the ocean nude and it was lovely because I could get out of the water, dry myself off, chuck on my shorts and I could get back on the bus and I wasn't wet. So that was a bonus. That was a huge bonus.
That beach was beautiful.
It was very, it was very, very pretty. Jokes aside, it was very pretty. Then that evening we had our evening dinner at the Glass House. So we do love the Glass House, so that was nice, wasn't it?
Yep.
Then
next day we were back in Tenerife. So with this cruise, because it's split into 7-night cruises as well, there was 2 nights in Tenerife to begin with, and then we were in Tenerife again now for another 2 nights while they swapped over passengers.
Okay, so on our first day in Tenerife then.
On our first day, when we were back in Tenerife...
Well, I'd say first day, but first day, second visit. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with that one.
So we decided to go for a little walk along to the auditorium. A really pretty artistic building, isn't it?
It started off as... There were bits and pieces left over from the carnival the week before. We sort of started walking just to see the fountain and the town and saw the sign that says like, you know, and we thought we'd go there. And we saw this Ferris wheel and I thought, oh, let's go there because we could see it moving. But when we actually got there, it wasn't moving. It was the wind was blowing it. So we thought, as we were this close, we could see this enormous building with this really cool architecture, by the way. It was like a wave. I think it's meant to be either a sail, I think. I thought at the time it was a wave. And I was like, this looks really cool. Let's go and take a closer look. So we did. And as it turned out, it was, what did you say, an auditorium?
Auditorium. It's a really pretty building. And if you walk along it and look over the side, you'll see there's like rocks with painted
there's like loads of
musicians on it.
Yeah, like Celine Dion and Elton John and all these different artists.
So after that, we headed back to the ship and just kind of enjoyed ourselves on the ship, really. That evening, we dined in the Epicurean.
And that was really nice. Really
that was a beautiful meal,
I did enjoy the Epicurean. It was fantastic this time. I just remember this one dish I had and it had like this octopus tentacle on it. You think that's gross, but I thought it was delicious. It was some sort of, I can't remember what it was with now, it's escaping me, but I remember the octopus tentacle on the top. It was lovely. And then second day in Tenerife.
Next day in Tenerife.
Following day.
We took a Pinot excursion up to Mount Teide. Mount Teide,
I think it is.
Okay.
Wow. Oh my God. Well, I'm saying this, if you're going to do this itinerary, if you're considering it, chances are you're going to be in Tenerife for at least a day, either before your cruise or after your cruise. Highly recommend the excursion to Mount Teide because it is phenomenal.
It took us up to this viewpoint. As we were going up this viewpoint, we left Azura. It was a bit drizzly. Went through some rain.
Through the clouds, basically, moving on.
We got back to the ship. That's where we got stuck in a protest, but we'll just skip
Oh
over
yeah,
that.
we were stuck in a thing because the bus was coming back and there's tractors. Yeah, never mind.
So there's a farmers' protest,
We'll
but
go into that.
it didn't. That evening we were in the buffet.
Oh, again, we were doing informal quite a lot on this cruise. Well, you did back up to Madeira again.
Yes.
And I got to say, this, of all the sea days we had, was the bounciest. It was very, woo, it was like you felt like you were in a lift going up and down, up and down. And the waves were whoosh and splashing. And the poor little Buddha that's praying in the Oasis pool, it was just whoosh, sandwiching him, was gone. And it was a wash. But you know what? It is what it is. As we said, we had no idea what this itinerary was like. If you've done the Bay of Biscay and that sort of area before, it's similar to that. Basically, it's very choppy down this. So I do recommend lunch at the Glass House today.
A favourite of ours.
We do like the lunches because you can have like your little 3 plates and stuff, can't you? So we did that. And then that evening, again, it was black tie night.
Third one. Very nice.
Yes, very nice, Sindhu.
Next day, we were back in Madeira. Bit of deja vu here, isn't there?
And it did actually feel like deja vu. I remember at this point.
We didn't go on the hop-on, hop-off bus this time. We did have a Pinot excursion that took us on the cable car all the way up to the, well, I think you can just call them wicker baskets, can't you?
They're like toboggans, and they run with the tyre shoes, and they run. Now this was, honestly, I found this was really... it was brilliant. I really enjoyed the cable car.
The views from the cable car were stunning.
Baskets now, the baskets.
They were fun,
we did
weren't
have to have a little wait for them. We were in a queue for about an hour or so.
Yeah.
Oh my God, am I nuts? I'm going in a basket and these men are going to stop it. Like, it's going to be tearing down. It sort of twists and turns, isn't it? It's like Mario Kart or something.
It was great. And if you're in Madeira, you have to do
it. You have to.
And then after that, they took us to some Madeira wine tasting.
Yeah, which was lovely. In a place called, I think it was...
And then after that, they took us to the same viewpoint we'd been to last
week. The week before.
But that's fine. But we were only there for about 10 minutes.
So I don't think I even bothered filming that bit because I thought we've done it last week. So I'm just going to go enjoy it, walk and just, in the main dining room. And then...
I think this was another one. We were there until like 9:30, weren't we?
It was
on Madeira.
Yeah, well, it would have been, wouldn't it? It was the same as the week before. That night, then we had dinner at the Glass House again.
Very nice.
We do like the Glass House quite a lot. We spent quite a lot of time there. And then there was like a silent disco that night as well. There was loads going on around the ship. There was a comedian, but like the place was rammed. But to be honest, we'd just come from a silent disco and we were going straight down to Manhattan, which is like the late night party, the disco.
It's quite a late night as well, that one, wasn't it?
It was a very late night, that one, a very late night. And then the following day was to be spent at sea again. And I was not in a very good state that day because I partied too hard the night before. So it was a very, very good job that we had secured ourselves a pass for the retreat.
Yes.
Which is like adults only, sort of, you pay for it as an exclusive area at the front of the ship, like you get on Britannia, Iona, those sort of ships, Arvia. Unfortunately, it didn't have a hot tub in it. It was just like a grassed sort of area, little hedges, little cushioned beds and stuff. But it was nice. It was relaxed.
Cold food selection.
You get food. You had salmon for breakfast. We had a coronation chicken salad for our lunch. But it was kind of like deconstructed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a conventional kind of gloopy coronation chicken. It was like all little bits. But it was nice though. Very, very tasty.
You had waiter service up there.
We had
as well,
afternoon tea as well.
Yeah.
He served us tea,
really
come round with the tea and the coffee. It was really, really nice and relaxed. It was just what the doctor ordered, I think, in that instance. And then again, it was our fourth and final black tie night of the cruise. And that evening we just had our dinner in the Meridian main dining room. Nothing too fancy, but it was nice. And our waiter, the one what was his name? Praysum. He has these little jokes and riddles, and he gives them to you, and you have to work it out when you have your dinner. And at the end, then when he's clearing up, he asks you, have you worked them all out? And I think we did pretty good. I think there was only one we didn't get, wasn't it? But everything else we completely nailed. We got all of the riddles, all the clues. We sussed it.
After our final sea day, we were now ending up in Gran Canaria.
Yes.
Here we hadn't planned any Pinot excursions, but we had researched a little bit and then decided to do the aquarium. It was about 28 euros.
Yeah.
Quite pricey, but
Brilliant,
it was a very good experience, wasn't it?
Immersive. Like, it was really quite...
You loved it, didn't you?
Really, really loved it.
So as you walk around the aquarium, there's different zones. So you've got like crocs, tortoises.
It's like a Jurassic sort of area, which was all like jungly and stuff. And it's like, you walk... Like, how can I describe it? You walk over like drawbridges, but you walk through, like, say they've got like a pond. You sort of walk through it, don't you?
Yeah.
Like it's glass. And there were fish. You walked in one part when we first went in, and it's like you're walking on water and the fish are swimming under you, but they're not like projections around, they're actual real fish, which is really cool.
It's great, and we also there's also a cafe there. So we did have a little light lunch while the sharks were swimming around.
And then the people, the divers, were in the tanks and they were cleaning the glass. They do it obviously every day or whatever they do, and they were waving to people and all and blowing kisses while they were having their dinner. It was really, really good.
We highly recommend if you like aquariums, it's definitely worth going there. After that, we took a little walk through town and headed over to the beach, didn't we?
A little gander at that.
We did a little walk along the promenade over the beach area. And then we headed to a little bar
which was recommended to us by Ken and Lindsay.
Yes. So I think it was called Buena Vida.
Buena Vida. I did write it down somewhere, but it's escaped me, people. But it was very small, very quiet little bar, but the drinks in there were really, really well made, really exceptional, and it was nice. It was just nice and quiet.
Really friendly guy behind the bar as well. It was really good. After that, we walked back to the ship. And that evening, I think we were back in the beach house, if I remember correctly.
Oh, the beach house is bloody good, though. Oh, I do love the beach house.
So after Gran Canaria, where were we next?
After Gran Canaria, we headed to our final port of call, which was Lanzarote. Right, Lanzarote, we did actually pre-book an excursion with P&O, which was to the Fire Mountain, which is at the Timofaya National Park. Gotta say, we were on the bus. We went late, we were still early, it was probably about 10-15 minutes early. The bus was absolutely chock-a-block. Didn't get to sit next to each other, which that was okay, could have coped with that. But then to top it all off, I ended up sat at the very back of the bus, which as you can imagine is 5 seats. I was in the middle. I literally had no view of anything. I was really it was one of my most disappointing excursions ever. I beat myself up the whole day for it, thinking if I'd have just been maybe 10 minutes earlier, I just saw heads. I mean, I tried my best. I did look over the side, did see people tried to take a bit of pictures, but it was nigh impossible to do. There was just no hope of me filming any of the scenery travelling on the bus. But we did end up cutting to the actual, the top, the Fire Mountain, which we got to see them like throw hay into like this gaping hole, which burst it into flames, and we saw them cooking chickens over this like pot.
And the water pots, they put the water in
the geysers, and it burst that. We saw all of that, and then they took us around then, around the national park, basically around the mountain. It is a shame, really, I didn't get to see much of it. Gavin did try to take some. Luckily, the lady you were sat by actually let you swap and sit by the window, so that was a saving grace in that respect. So you did get some footage, but that's literally what we have. It was very disappointing, because I think I would do it again, but I'd make sure I'd be even earlier next time.
The thing is because the bus was full, if you weren't sat there, somebody else would have had that experience instead.
That's what I mean. It's just shame, really. It's a shame that seat was even sold, because it's just for scenery kind of thing. So anyway, I won't go any more whinging, but I was very disappointed. It was a shame, a big shame.
So turn up the excursions at least 10 minutes before the time.
Well, we were 10 minutes early. I said half an hour early on that one. So after our excursion, we spent the rest of the day on the ship, relaxed, enjoyed it, made the most of it. That evening, we were going to go down to the main dining room because we wanted to say goodbye to Praisam and I'm sure his name was Mohammed. But we were walking to the buffet, and the week before I'd seen they do like an Indian themed buffet, and there's one thing P&O do well is a bloody good curry. And I walked through and you could see that everything. They had the little samosas, they had the bhajis, they had the little poppadoms, they had all the curries you could think of, they had all the different types of rice. It was like, oh.
You know it's good when there's loads of officers there eating.
Yeah, all the crew were eating there as well. So we were like, no, we're going to go to the Indian buffet this evening. So that's where we had our final dinner on the ship, was the Indian buffet. And then
next day, it was back to Tenerife.
And this time we weren't staying on for 2 days, we actually had to go home.
So we arrived back early morning, and we had to be out of our cabin by 8 AM.
Yes.
So it was up early, out of the cabin by 8. We headed to the main dining room for breakfast, the first time we'd done this on the cruise.
Which was nice. It's a nice way to finish it all off. And then we had to wait until about 11:15 to go to the meet-up point to meet the bus.
Yes, so they'd organised the transfers for us, but until then you could enjoy the ship. 1:45 to midday, went down to the main dining room, got the bus, The transfer took us to the airport.
Yeah.
The luggage had already been put out the night before. That had already been taken to the airport for us. And it was a case of really doing that airport faff where you wait around.
For 4 hours.
For 4 hours.
And then the flight was delayed half an hour. And then we eventually had our 4-hour flight home.
Yes.
And we landed in Gatwick about 40 minutes later than we should have.
But our luggage arrived with us, which was always a bonus.
That is always a bonus after one of our previous endeavours.
Yes.
But
at that point we were reunited with our luggage, and unfortunately that's where the cruise finished.
But we had a really, really good time. It was honestly a shame that we didn't obviously plan a lot more because we didn't have the time. I think if it had been a full-on 14-night cruise, sold as a 14-night cruise with the same passengers getting on and off at the same time rather than break up in the middle without a turnover in the middle and a repetition of Madeira twice and 2 sea days, like twice, that would have been better. But we had an exceptionally good time. We've never been to Canaries before, and we were blown away. The scenery, it's all very volcanic, it's very pretty. Weather was very warm.
We had sunshine. What more can you ask for?
In fact, we actually said the first week more so, we said it was hotter than the Caribbean.
4-hour flight as well.
4-hour flight, yeah, that skims nearly over half, nearly. So yes, we'd highly recommend the itinerary. We would definitely be doing it again for sure. In fact, we've already been looking because it was, as I said, 977 quid. So I guess now we've told you all about our amazing itinerary and our wonderful ship and our adventures and what we got up to, our fun times. Unfortunately, it's time to wrap up this little episode. It has to end, but don't worry. Do not worry, we have loads more videos coming up. We've got plenty more content on the way. In the next episode, as we said earlier on, we're going to be discussing Azura, what we thought of the ship, our initial impressions kind of thing, what we may have liked or maybe what we didn't like as much, because there was nothing really bad from what I can recall, not majorly bad. And we're going to talk about our accommodation, our cabin, aren't we? Yep. And how lovely that was and how that worked out, because as you know. Yeah. So yes, if you don't want to miss out on these videos, please kindly consider subscribing to our channel. That way you won't miss out.
Exactly. If you hit the little bell icon, it'll notify you when new videos uploaded as well.
Brilliant.
And if you've got any comments or questions, pop them in the comment section below, or pop over to our Facebook group where we can answer your questions over there as well.
And if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up as well. That helps us out as well. So yeah, and we really do appreciate it. It's fantastic. We love the interaction. So yes, any questions, fire away. Anyway, for now, from us, it's going to be adios until we see you in the next one. Cheerio, folks. Bye. Thanks for watching.